what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. I'm back here at Audi Wesley Chapel, and guess what? We have it. This is the largest currently built sedan by Audi. This is the 2020 Audi A8 L60. But before we dive into this full-size sedan, let's talk about what this vehicle represents to Audi. This is their go-to to compete against the BMW 7 Series, the Mercedes-Benz S-Class, even the Lincoln Continental. Audi is saying that, hey, we can do it. We do it better with their Quattro all-wheel drive system. Under the hood of this particular one, V8 performance. Now, the A8 was redesigned in 2019, just last year. All that has been carried through. But what I want to try to find out with this review, is this the best? Is this the perfect full-size luxury sedan to go up against those competitors? So let's go ahead, dive into this 2020 A8 and see if we can find out. Right off the bat, the styling definitely screams German, definitely screams Audi. When you look at the headlight design, of course you're going to get full LED headlights, LED daytime running lamps, and turn signals. You can see for 2019 how they redesigned the headlight housing. It's all blacked out on the interior, a little bit of silver trim, but other than that, definitely looks very unique and stands out. Now, as you pan down, you do have functional corner air intakes. The chrome trim works well on this Audi A8. Really strong in its styling, very bold, but looks super clean as well. I like the way the chrome trim kind of wraps around. You have a little bit more in this lower corner portion. And as we come across that iconic grille shape, it's so interesting how many different brands have copied this design, but you have the 4 rings. Remember, this represents the 4 individual companies that formed together during the World Depression to create Audi. Our Quattro badge, Quattro, that Italian word for 4, means we're getting power down to all 4 corners of this vehicle. You'll notice the beautiful trim, not only horizontal, but you also have around the perimeter here and some gloss on the center section, but definitely very low, very wide, very exquisite right to each point. Now, when we get up onto the hood, just like many other Audis, I love the way the hood just meets the top of the grille. Don't need the front fascia to come up. I also like the way you have these 2 high rises that raise up on the hood into the A-pillar, super clean. And I'm telling you right now, this thing sparkles like a black diamond. As we come around the bend, what are we working with? Wheel and tires setup on this particular car. You're looking on the A8, here is our wheel design. So you have a multi-spoke design, bright metallic silver. This is a 19-inch wheel, 255 on the width, 45 series sidewall. Look at the size of that caliper. This is a luxury sedan. That's a 6-piston caliper, the size of a football. So you're gonna have football clamping, braking capability, large, fully ventilated rotor. It's a 2-piece rotor to help dissipate the heat, but very classy, very clean look. Now, as we rise up, you'll notice the strong body line in the fender going into the belt line, color matched mirror caps, chrome trim around the top and the bottom. Of course, we're gonna have a panoramic sunroof, some chrome trim along the lower sill, and then just a little sprinkling of chrome trim on the door handles towards the rear of the car. I love the way you have the very strong prominent line, and then you have the other body lines that really give the side of the car a lot of character. The way that the rear pillar comes into the trunk, that sharp, strong line, that very clean German styling. That's what I love about this Audi, the styling. It could have been very busy, super clean. Now, no trunk lid spoiler or anything. There's a little bit of a kick up. They take that chrome trim and integrate it into the rear lighting. Of course, the rear lighting is gonna be full LED, turn signals and all that. And if you're wondering to yourself, you're saying, Joe, is this car gonna get a zonk? Yes, it is gonna get a zonk. What is going on here? You have 2 fake exhaust vents. It would have been nice, I know this isn't an S car, but it would have been nice to have on this A8 some actual functioning exhaust. But other than that, very bold, very powerful. Speaking of power, let's go ahead and pop the hood and see what's powering this A8. All right, guys, we got the massive hood popped. You do have 2 hydraulic hood struts underneath the hood, very large plastic cover. You do have the Audi badging on there. There's the V8 badge, turbocharged power, and look at these massive strut braces that go from the shock top mount to the radiator housing area. So you're looking at a 4-liter turbocharged V8, 453 horsepower, 487 pound-feet of torque. This car is mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission, 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds. That may not seem fast, but think about it. This car weighs 4,751 pounds. It is speed limited to 130 miles an hour. You do get 17 miles per gallon in the city and 26 on the highway. But boy, oh boy, to have that turbocharged V8 power. I don't know if you could see here, I'm gonna have Victor kind of zoom in and show how there's an opening to the air box to bring more air into that area to obviously fuel this V8, turbocharged V8 power over 400 horsepower. But why don't we go ahead, let's get to the interior and see if this A8 is the standout that Audi says it is. All right, guys, we're inside the Audi A8. I know you're at that point where you're like, Joe, I want to live large and in charge like this Audi A8. How much is it? You're looking at MSRP of $101,000. Let's see what you get for the money. Now, to the door panels, at the top of the door panel, it's all soft material. I like the brushed aluminum. The dark wood is just drop dead sexy and exquisite. I love the use of that material. There is a bit of gloss black, which I'm gonna zonk, but it's nothing too crazy. You do have 2 memory seat settings, and I do like the tasteful brushed aluminum for the door handle there. You have some Alcantara. The leather's very nice and tasteful. The stitch work is great. You got a pocket for a couple German Big Macs and a bottle of Coca-Cola, and this does have the optional B&O sound system. Now, when you get to the dash, look at how it's like a step system. Very classy. A bunch of gloss black and this silver, which is a concern in the sunny time, but it looks really, really good. The wood is very tasteful. Even the controls for the AC vents, to open and close the vents, you actually hit those electric buttons there, which is kind of classy. Now, the actual AC vents themselves, you direct the air by using the controls on the actual vent itself. Brushed aluminum is nice. You have your over 10-inch infotainment system, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. We could go into Audi Drive Select, go into our different drive modes. We're going to leave it in dynamic. Go back to home. Of course, you have your different apps and whatnot. It's showing me right now this is a demonstration. I don't want to be demonstrated right now. I'm doing the demonstrating. We hit navigation. There's our navigation system there. Let me cross out there. Super clear. Go back to home. We drop down. This is over 8 inches of display for your AC controls. Ventilated seats, heated seats. If it looks scary, don't be scared by it, because after a couple times using it, you'll be a pro. You can even go through your drive select modes right here as well. So multiple places to switch from those dynamic modes. This has adaptive dampers, all 4 corners. You could soften them or stiffen them up depending on what mode you're in. Let me throw it in reverse. And you can see our backup camera and 360. The camera quality is beautiful. The trajectory is really nice. Go back into park, and there we are out front, also with trajectory. We drop back. I hope you're ready for gloss black. Time to play the piano, because there's plenty of gloss black here. You have 2 cup holders and a 12 volt. We close that back up. More of that gloss black. It's actually a lot. The silver is nice. And then to open these guys, you could go one, you could go this one, or you could go both. You got wireless charging, enough space for 1 Twinkie. If you put 2 Twinkies in there, you're gonna squirt cream all over your fine leather and Alcantara. You do have 2 USBs, but I do like the wireless charging. And the seats, great. Soft, perforated, nice large headrests, large back area into the bottom. They are 22-way positionable seats. Really, really comfortable. And then here is your Audi A8 key fob. Very classy. It's got the panic button on the back when you're about to freak out. No remote start, so that's a bit of a zonk. You do have, though, the panoramic style sunroof, which let me go ahead and open that up. It's the split design. Real easy to use, very, very tasteful. One for up front, one for the people in the back. But why don't you come over to the business end? I want to show you behind the wheel of this A8. All right, guys, business time. Just like the passenger, you're gonna get 2 memory seat settings. And one thing I also want to point out, watch this. Abracadabra. You actually have a little felt storage in there where you could put your girlfriend's class ring and not let it get scratched, the one she gave you back when you made out at prom. Seats, great, plenty of headroom. The doors open nice and wide. Steering wheel, very, very classy. And normally I don't like where they have a lower bridge it looks good on this car. The brushed aluminum, the gloss black, nice thickness. You do have paddles on the back of the steering wheel. They are plastic, so I am gonna zonk that, especially on a car that costs $101,000. But the steering wheel stitch work is spot on. Look at how you got the front grille shape there. Very, very classy. And then that virtual cockpit, I could stare at that all day long. I wish there was a way to watch Rady's rides on that virtual cockpit, because the TFT display is so clear. You could toggle through a cornucopia, a smorgasbord, and all you can eat of different information. Watch this, you ready? Boom, boom, bang. Wonderful. That's what I call great technology. Nice to see. That's something that Audi has done a lot of work on that, and guess what? It paid off. And you even have a head-up display, a little rudimentary because it just says your speed, but other than that, everything else is well laid out. Let's check out the room in the back seat area, because I think you'd rather be chauffeured than driven in this A8. All right, guys, back seat time. Here's where the Audi A8 is just incredible. Now, the reason why there's an L in the name is because of length, long. It's got a long wheelbase. What the wheelbase is the space in between the front wheel and the rear wheel. And by extending that, not only do you give a more comfortable ride down the highway, lots of room in the back seat area. Now, backs of the seats, I like the way they brought the wood trim. Very tasteful. You have a pocket down here. You can put a banana or two, maybe even an apple if you're feeling really hungry. And then you have your AC vents with that same digital touch technology for the vent. And hit that, 212 volts, close it up. I like the stitch work. If you're wondering, well, what is this table here? Is this to eat lunch? Like you get your Jimmy John's sandwich and you put it out? This is actually the drive shaft is underneath here. Because remember, all-wheel drive, you got a drive shaft going from the front to the back. So that's why you have the drive shaft tunnel there. Get ready for this. Ding, 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 ding. AC controls, heated seats, but no ventilated seats. I'm gonna zonk that because I would expect ventilated seats, and you can see the fingerprints. That's gonna drive some of you crazy. Open this guy up. You got a little cubby in here. You can fill this up with your Skittles and the colors won't run. And then you even have a back passage area, like say if you have a gnome living back there, you could actually give him some Skittles, because I heard gnomes love Skittles. I think that my zonk is that what is going on here? 212 volts is great, but what that means is I gotta go to Target and buy myself a USB adapter in a $101,000 car. You're out of your mind. So that's gonna be a zonk. What definitely isn't a zonk is check out the vanity mirrors. One for you, one for me. LED lighting, you could stare at yourself all day long. And you have your sunroof back here, which is great as well. But we're gonna close these up. Let's check out the trunk space, see if that gnome is still alive in the Florida heat. All right, guys, time to open up the trunk. Real simple. Hit the button, electric assist. Nice size opening. I guess the bad news is first of all, we had to take the gnome to the hospital. He was dehydrated from the Florida heat and humidity. The other bad news is that you only have about 12.5 cubic feet of space. So for me, that's a bummer, because I was expecting in something so large to have all this room. But the great news is you definitely have enough width there to where you could get some larger items. It's just the problem is there's not enough cubic feet. But you push this button, that drops down. If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's take this turbocharged V8 A8 for a spin. All right, guys, we're in the Audi A8. And I'm telling you right now, this car is like driving on a cloud. Very soft, very quiet, very smooth. The way it's laid out is super clean. You do have, I forgot to mention, full massage seating in the Audi A8, which is a very nice touch. And then of course, like I said, the Apple CarPlay, the Android Auto, the navigation, which let me go ahead and bring the navigation up for you. But super smooth, and I'm telling you right now, once you figure out this whole system, it's really not complicated. I'm not loving the gloss black. It's a little too much gloss black for me, but let's see how performance is. I'm gonna come to a stop. Beautiful virtual display, leaving it automatic mode, on throttle, all-wheel drive drops down, then we're pointed towards the sky, fast shifts, on the brakes, very nice. Look at this, very controllable. We're in a large sedan, everybody, and we're handling like the business. Those massive calipers up front, look at this, super smooth, really just showcases the abilities of this car, and that 8-speed automatic transmission shifts very, very well. Now the good news is, by having a nice flat hood, you have great visibility out the front. The A-pillars are so far apart, they're like a football field apart in here. So much room, you're not gonna be lacking for room. If you look at the competitors, back seat room is gonna be compromised a little bit, but up front, it's wonderful. Everywhere you touch, it's nice and soft. Controls are easy to get to. Visibility out the back is so clear. I want to do a little bit of another acceleration test here. So let me left foot brake, on throttle, all-wheel drive, plants us, and we are off. I'm telling you, 0 to 60, 4.4 seconds is quite substantial in this vehicle. And then the brakes, you're able to shed the speed very, very quickly. That's what separates this kind of car from a lot of the pretenders. And that's what makes driving this car so interesting, is that even though it's not an S8, you're still gonna get a lot of that great DNA that Audi has developed from their racing programs over the decades of their experience. All right, guys, one more time, on throttle, here we go. Leave it in automatic mode. Transmission is shifting well. Look at this thing. It's like a German cruise missile. On the brakes. Look at this. This is just not supposed to happen so well like that. Back on throttle, exit out, pivots just a little bit, square off that turn, back on the brakes. Look at this. ABS doing its thing. Really, really smooth. The inputs are phenomenal. Especially just the way you feel engaged to the steering. The front wheels, it's just really spot on the money and feels great. And then once you get back on the highway, smooth sailing, you feel comfortable, you get your massage, you got ventilated seats. If it's colder out, of course, you're gonna have full heated seats. Really just an incredible piece of machinery to have this kind of quality and performance in such a large vehicle. But hopefully this gave you a nice overview of what this car is all about. We're gonna get back to Audi at Wesley Chapel and wrap this one up, so I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, been another wonderful day here at Audi Wesley Chapel. Definitely gotta thank Adam, Chris, Mike, the rest of the crew, getting us this A8 for you guys on the channel. You know what? V8 power, turbocharged power, that great Audi engineering. I think definitely this is a competitor for those other major brands. May not have that back seat room or the trunk room as some of the competitors, but definitely if you want that all-wheel drive capability and that Audi name and profile, this might be the full-size luxury sedan for you. But if it's big boys like this one that you want to keep seeing on Radius Rise, leave a comment in the comment section. If you're new and you're on your way out, hit the subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Radius Rise family. If you want to help us keep making great content just for you on the channel, click the link in the description, get yourself some Radius Rise merch. Got to get it out to Victor. He was a little taken aback by the size of this A8, but he feels so much better now. And guess what, Victor? The good news is the gnome is going to be okay. He's going to make a full recovery. So thank you for your hard work. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.